Mark, thank you so much for joining us here at Empower 2024. Great
Pleasure.
to see you. You're here speaking on a panel looking at and focusing on how the volatile geopolitical situation, and obviously we've got major elections as well happening around the world this year, how that impacts really on managers' behaviour.
Yep.
And whether we're seeing that impacting on things like sustainable investing and whether it's perhaps putting the brakes on some of those areas.
Yeah, and I think, it has potential too, but governments need private investment in their economies. It powers GDP, creates growth, creates jobs. So governments need private markets, private investors putting money into the economy. So, and there are great investment opportunities to be made for finance. So finance see big investment opportunities. But I do think if governments start to not want to back certain industries, so hydrogen would be a great example, or carbon capture, if they're not going to come in with subsidies or good policy help, then finance is going to keep focusing on the existing areas that it does. So it will affect some of the areas, I think, for the future, but generally it's still going to be big business going forward.
It sounds like it's going to require quite brave, if you like, and strong leadership in those terms as well, from what you've just described.
From the investment side of things, yeah, absolutely. So it's our job to make great financial returns for our customers. So when we see opportunities, but we need government support, we do go to government. We ask for policy change. We ask for subsidies. We ask for help for us to be able to invest into the economy. And generally, we're very, very well received by governments.
Do you expect to see different strategies from managers in that sort of environment too?
I think it's different depending on the client type. So for institutional investors, they're still highly committed to being net zero, so nothing's really changed. I think where it's wealth or where it's retail, I think there we have to get better at explaining why investing sustainably will actually add returns. It's just about financial returns. That's all we need to get our messaging about.
We obviously focus there on all the different risk factors there are, and with all of that in mind, what would you say are key coping mechanisms for your industry in that sort of environment, and how do you see opportunity and be positive when perhaps everybody is being quite reticent in that sort of environment?
Yeah, I think as long as we can talk about the financial returns or how we add alpha by investing in each asset, I think it's great. As soon as we really focus only on the risk management, then it loses the sales wow factor for each investment. So for us, we have to get better at talking about sustainable equals better returns, and it doesn't in all areas, so we really need to focus on where it does, I think.
And as you said, it can be really, really good for the bottom line. It's not just something that you're mitigating risk, it's actually beneficial too.
Yeah, and we see sustainable investment almost as a third dimension to risk and return. So there's trade-offs to be made, but you don't necessarily have to lose return to invest sustainably. But you can make the trade-off if you want to, but that would be more of an impact style fund. And most investors at the moment are just looking at the return side. So you do have to make sure sustainability is factored in, but treated as a third dimension to the investment strategy.
So with all of that in mind, and finally, how would you like to see investors sort of approach now going forward? We talked there about positivity. What would you like to see as the approach as we go into 2025 and beyond these big global elections and the like?
So I think governments do need to continue to commit to a green economy, but for the long term. And then we need strong policy direction that they are committed. They are going to back up certain industry types. They're going to create regions where we can make investments more easy, change planning rules, all that sort of positive backup. It's not necessarily finance we need from governments, it's policy direction. And if we have that, then we can create an amazing investment story around it, which we can sell to our investors.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts today. Great to talk to you, Mark.
Thank you very much.